Hey everyone, welcome to Central Texas Gardening. In today's video, I'm going to show y'all how I harden off my tomato plants. The process for doing this is very similar to how I do all other vegetables, so you can carry this over to anything else you grow. So stick around and I'll show you how to get these acclimated to being outdoors. So why harden off your tomato plants? Well, the first obvious reason is they've been growing inside for basically all their life so far since I planted them in late January, so they're very used to being in a nice temperature controlled, no wind inside. So if you were to just go stick them straight out into the garden, they would not do well. You would probably lose at least half of them, and the ones that do survive, you're going to set them back by a good amount of days or weeks. So again, the main reason you want to get them outside is to get them acclimated to the wind, the sun, the temperature, all those good things. When they grow indoors, there's no wind, so they're fairly flimsy. I do have some nice thicker ones here, but majority of these are pretty thin there. So that's one of the main things, is get them acclimated to the wind. Number two is the sun. The sun's going to beat these plants up a whole lot more than my grow lights ever will. So you want to get them acclimated to the sun. And number two is the temperature. Inside, it stays a nice around low 70, mid 70 degree range, so they're very comfortable with that. Outside, they're going to see extremes. Depending on when you plant them, they could see down into the low 50s or upper 40s possibly, depending on where you're at. On the top side of that, they could see a 90-degree day in their first couple weeks being in the ground. So wind, temperature, sunlight, all those are important things for your tomato plants to get used to before you get them out into your garden. So my hardening off process is revolved around me working my normal full-time job Monday through Friday. So I start my hardening off process on a Thursday. To be more precise, Thursday evening, after I get home from work after 4 or 5 o'clock. On the first day, I roll these out into a shaded area. Here we're on my back patio, they're out of direct sunlight. So I pull them out here for about 2 hours on that first day in the evening on a Thursday. A nice cloudy day like we're having today is super beneficial, so you know there's no chance of it getting direct sunlight on them. The next day on Friday, same thing. After work, I come home, I push these out into the shaded patio for about an hour. Then I will come back out. I will push them in direct sunlight for 1 hour in the evening sun, when the sun's just getting over into the west part of the sky. I wouldn't say sunsetting, but the sun's not at its peak intensity as it would be in the middle of the day. I'll let them sit in that sun for about an hour, then I pull them back into the patio for another hour or so. So they're out for maybe 3 or 4 hours on that Friday evening. So this leads me into Saturday. I'm off on Saturday and Sundays, and again, this is why I start this on Thursday. On Saturday, I get as much time as I want to be able to get these out. So on Saturday, they're out for typically a half a day. I put them in the sun for about 2 hours in the morning. The remaining time, they will sit in the shade from not direct sunlight in my patio right here. And I typically do that for about a half a day on Saturday. And then on Sunday, I let them sit out in the sun for 3 to 4 hours in the morning, and the remaining part of the day, they'll sit in the shade. So that's about a 4-day process right there. And then on Monday, when I go back to work, depending on what the weather is, I could leave them out where they can get direct sunlight all day. If there's a partly cloudy or mostly cloudy skies, I'll leave them out all day. If it's going to be a sunny day, I will leave them in the shade while I'm at work, and then I'll push them out to the sun as soon as I get home, and I'll leave them out all the way until sunset. And I'll do that for about 5 days to a week or so. And eventually, there's going to be a day on probably the 1 week mark or so, I will leave them out all day, and I'll leave them out all night. Depending on the temperature, they could go in the garage overnight. If it gets down somewhere into the mid to low 50s, I will push them in the garage. But you're going to want them to be able to spend the night, at least one night outside before you get them out into the garden. So make sure that they have a full 24, 48 hours completely outside day and night before you get them out into the garden. So again, this is my method of hardening off my tomato plants. It works well for me, revolving around my work schedule, and gives me the opportunity to have the full weekend to be able to get these out even longer. But everyone's case is a little different depending on when you work, if you work part-time or full-time. Everyone's way of doing it might be a little different than how I do it. The main thing is that you are getting them outside. even if you're just getting them outside for 2 to 4 hours whenever you're home in the morning or evening, before, after work or whatever, as long as you're getting them outside for at least a week, that's going to be good enough. That's the best you can do. That's better than nothing. You want to get them acclimated to being outside the best that you can. Okay, so now you feel like you're in a good spot with hardening off your tomatoes. At this point, it's just a matter of waiting to get the proper weather to be able to transplant these out into the garden. Typically, it's around your last frost date or a little time after. Fortunately, it seems a little warmer this late winter, early spring in Central Texas, so I'm probably going to be able to get them in the ground a little earlier, but I'll do that in a future video when we get them out in the garden. Thank you for watching my video. I hope this helps people understand the process of hardening off your vegetable plants to get them out into the garden. Again, this is how I do it. Everyone's method might be a little different, but the important thing is that you are hardening them off. Don't forget to leave your comments and likes down below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all in the next video. Thank you.